Welcome back to Dragons and Flagons. I'm John, and today I would like to talk to you about my personal favorite virtual tabletop, Above VTT. It is a fantastic tabletop that I'm going to kind of walk through today just so you have a good understanding of why I think it's the best one out there. Let me preface this with it is my favorite virtual tabletop when playing Dungeons and Dragons. Other games, you're kind of out of luck when you want to use Above VTT because it plugs directly into D&dBeyond. For transparency's sake, I am an employee of Wizards of the Coast. These are my opinions, not Wizards. So with that out of the way, let's dive right into Above VTT. Above VTT is a Chrome plugin or Firefox plugin. Actually, you know what? I'm showing dndBeyond first. I don't think that's really the right place to start. Let's start over here with actual. I'm going to show you the Chrome part of this, but the actual Chrome plugin portion. I've already have it installed, so I'm not going to remove it or anything, but I'm going to put links to all of this down in the description below, so you don't have to go searching around for it yourself. But here it is. It's pretty simple. You and all of your players can just plug right in. It's free. Maybe the best part about this, it's absolutely free. But if you'd like to support them, they do have a Patreon here. I'll put that link down there as well. There's membership levels and perks and what have you. But once it's plugged in, once you have it installed, then in your dndBeyond campaign, so collections, my campaigns, and then I've got one here for solo adventuring. And if you've watched some of the other videos, you may recognize some of these characters. But once you have it installed, every player will be able to look at their own virtual tabletop. They would have access to their own, which we'll dive into in a moment. But then as a DM, you will also have the features up here. You can't, I don't have it set up to see my mouse, but there is an Above VTT set up here. So let's click right in and kind of take a look and see what's going on behind the scenes here. Not even really behind the scenes. What's going on as a DM? Right out of the gate, they give you this fantastic tavern map because every good adventure starts in a tavern. But as you can see here on the map, you have the actual map itself. And then to the right, there is a game log. In the game log, you can post as yourself or for everyone else. I typically, the first thing I'll do is I will have it send to everybody. But if you, as a DM, want to hide your roles, go to town. The next tab over is the Players tab, where all your player characters are in here, as well as any token in dndBeyond. Let me pause here and explain that this pulls in all of your content in dndBeyond. So if you've purchased everything, then it's all here. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a moment. But here's the players from the campaign. I'll switch back over to the campaign so you can kind of see. We have Huntress and Uscus and Trevor and Faith. But you can see that we have all those characters here. They all show up in Above VTT in your virtual tabletop here. You can add them simply by clicking the plus, and they all show up on your map. And here, I'll just sort them all out. Who did we miss? You know, all of them. And you know what? We'll even zoom in here just so you can kind of see. Here's our players. And you know, I definitely need them all sitting around a table because that's how I roll. And everyone's going to be eating some food as we continue this adventure. Moving right along, we do have, we are going to need some monsters in here. So let's find a goblin. Easy enough. And we'll add a goblin to the page or to our tabletop. Fun fact, you can right click and see your monster stat block. You can add them to combat tracker. You can do all these fun things. I'm not going to go through a full tutorial, but I am going to go through the high level features that I really like about this. And monster stat blocks is fantastic. Gives you all the information. It's plugged right into dndBeyond. So if the monster is going to attack you and the goblin here has a scimitar attack, we can just click that. The dice go flying. Hid behind my logo here, but let's click back over, and now we have our combat tracker, and again, I'm in the way here. So let's attack a couple more times. Just go into town. And then there they are. All of the different attacks just show up right here in your game log. As well as any ability scores or anything. You can just click on any little item that you'd like. You can also send the image to the game log if it's necessary, if people need to see what a goblin looks like or whatever creature you come across. Along the same lines, you have you can adjust things with your goblin. So your goblin has been enlarged for some reason and is now a large creature. There he is. That's pretty much high level of what you can do. You can go grab people, you can grab monsters, you can also grab just standard tokens as well. So if we have, I have my own tokens in here, so I may want to add a boat. So let's put a boat here. Hey, congratulations, now we have a boat and we're all going to drive around in a boat. Or you have a spiritual weapon. You know, someone has cast a spiritual weapon. You can go find swords and what have you, and now you have a spiritual weapon. Sky's the limits. Go to town. Have fun. Beyond the token aspect of this, you also have scenes. So we're looking at the scene now as a DM and as players. Both of those boxes are red. But if we wanted to create additional scenes, I can just plug right here into dndBeyond. It's fantastic. Look through some of the books that I have. Dragonlance is a big one right now that I'm running a game with. So, hooray. Let's pull up some Dragonlance. War Comes to Kryn. All of the assets that are in here are plugged right in. It's fantastic. So, we are in Chapter 3 in my current campaign. It's pretty early on in the game, and the people are still exploring things. But I know that they have a battle coming up. So, they've got these fantastic fray maps. And we're going to have the DM map as well. Maybe we'll make it a little darker because it's sun's going down. We're going to have things snap to the grid and definitely want to show the grid. Let's save that. It saves it. Now I'm going to switch over just as a DM. And there's our map, and there's our fray, and I added the grid on here, which is probably unnecessary. So I did make a mistake. We can easily update it and change that by just hitting the gear icon, and we don't want to show the grid anymore. And there we are. Now we're back with our characters, and we have our map. Just like any VTT or any tabletop, the joy for this one for me is it's very similar to other tabletops that I've tried, like Owlbear. I love Owlbear Rodeo. It's a fantastic tabletop, and I use it for any non-Dungeons and Dragons or D&D Beyond related content. Because it simulates the idea, the concept of what I have in person with people. Anyone can move anything that's on the map. It's great. So with that, we can add our giant ape to the map here. And there it is. And anyone can come around and move the tokens around or do whatever they need to do. Along the lines of our maps, we can also add music. I don't think I've set anything up here for you to hear the music, and it may be copyright stuff or what have you, but you can have music in here, and they have demo music, and you can listen to the different pieces in there, which is fantastic. There's a journal section. You can play around with that if you're interested in logging a journal. And then there's also the main settings section where I like to use the measure while dragging tokens option. I'll just turn that on just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Flip back over to our tavern. I'm going to zoom out. Oh, I don't need this boat anymore, so let's get rid of it. Just delete it. And then come back into our tavern, zoom out, and little Trevor needs to move, but he only gets 25 feet of movement. There it is. It measures it for you. And congratulations, he has moved. Now, as a player, what do they see? Because I have all these great options up there. Let's log in as Trevor. And I'm just going to, in a new tab, open up. And just by clicking it, it opens a new tab. Now I'm logging in as Trevor into Above VTT. And I have the same game log. I can see everything that's going on in here. And there's my character. I can move him around just the same, and I can still move my goblin just the same. But I also can see my character sheet. So here's Trevor in my character sheet just by clicking the sheet option at the top, or I can right click on my character. I believe if I am Trevor, I should be able to, oh, no, I was incorrect. I cannot. Yeah, but you have your sheet option up here. You also can whisper notes to other people, and you can make your own notes, and you can change your own settings. It's really fantastic. So going back, one other piece here. So as the DM, I've switched back over to the DM, and I know I'm hopping around, so if you need to stop and rewind, go for it. I am going to prepare while they are having some fun role play activities going on in the tavern with the giant goblin. Whatever's happening, great. But as a DM, I want to switch over and start preparing my great ape battle on this field. One, I know Trevor is logged in. I can see that in my game log, which again is behind a poorly placed picture of camera of myself. But I'm going to switch back over to Trevor. Trevor's still in the tavern because the DM hasn't allowed Trevor to see the map of the Battle of High Hill. As a DM, if I the players switch from the tavern to the Battle of High Hill, switch back over to Trevor, he is now on here. Switch everybody back over to we're back over, and now I'm back as the DM. Other interesting, fun things, beyond the fact that it has everything that has in D&D Beyond that I personally own. It's not like you can go get free books out of this. It doesn't work that way. It ties into your D&D Beyond account. It creates an encounter in there. That's how it adds all this stuff, as far as I know. It also allows you to play virtually with all of your friends, which is fantastic because sometimes you can't make it to someone's house. Tokens. You can add your own tokens as well. And I'll jump into that one more time. One quickly here, because it is a feature that I really enjoy. Just the same way as you want to add a token or a map, you can create a new scene as a DM. And this will be my test scene. And I can either use free maps. So I have all of these basic maps or free maps or even experimental YouTube maps. It's fantastic. You can grab any old map, import it in, click save, and I believe I should have my map that I chose randomly. But then if I have my own map, I've created one using one of the many map generators out there. I can actually import that as well by simply putting the URL into this player map spot here. You have to load that into like a Google Drive or something along those lines, and then make it public to all so that everyone can see it. But you could add that in there and create a brand new scene. Above VTT is by far my absolute favorite virtual tabletop to play with when playing Dungeons & Dragons using D&D Beyond virtually. Otherwise, I mean, I'd rather be at a table looking face to face with somebody and having a nice pint of mead, or whatever beverage, or hot tea, as I'm actually drinking right now. But yeah, that's a quick summary of why I love Above VTT and why it's my absolute favorite virtual tabletop. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. And thanks a lot.